Okay, so keeping up with SEO
Uh,
can sometimes feel like, trying
ah,
to hold on to a greased piglet.
right.
Just when you think you've got a handle on it, squirms away. Today, we're going to unpack this squirmy little beast
Okay.
by diving into an article from an Australian web design company
Uh-huh.
titled Adapting to Evolving SEO Strategies for Maximum Impact.
It's a fantastic choice for a deep dive, you know?
Yeah.
This article really gets to the heart of why SEO keeps changing, and it does a great job of distilling some pretty complex ideas into actionable advice.
And that's exactly what we need, right? Because it's one thing to read about the latest Google update, but it's another thing entirely to understand how it actually affects our online presence and what we can do about it.
Absolutely. And the article makes a really compelling point right off the bat, which is that all these changes in SEO ultimately boil down to one thing: user experience.
So Google isn't just trying to make life difficult for website owners.
Well, maybe a little, but ultimately they're trying to ensure that when someone searches for something, they get the most relevant, high quality, and easy to digest information possible. And that means constantly refining their algorithms to weed out the spammy, low-effort stuff and reward the websites that are genuinely trying to provide value to their users.
Okay, so user experience is king, but how does that actually translate into concrete SEO strategies?
Well, one of the biggest shifts in recent years has been the focus on user intent. It's no longer enough to just stuff your content with keywords.
Right.
You need to understand what people are really looking for when they type in a particular search query.
Can you give us an example of what you mean?
Sure, imagine someone searches for best running shoes for marathon training. They're clearly not just looking for any old pair of running shoes.
Right.
They want shoes specifically designed for long distances, with features like cushioning, support, and durability. And they probably also want to see reviews and comparisons to help them make an informed decision.
I see. So it's about getting into the mind of the searcher and understanding their specific needs and motivations.
Exactly. And this ties into another key trend highlighted in the article: mobile-first indexing.
Ah, yes, the infamous mobile-first indexing. Everyone keeps talking about it, but what does it actually mean in practical terms?
It means that Google now primarily uses the mobile version of your website to determine how it should rank in search results.
Yeah.
So if your site isn't optimized for mobile devices,
Yeah.
you're basically shooting yourself in the foot.
So responsive design, fast loading times, easy navigation on a smaller screen.
Yeah,
These are all non-negotiables these days.
absolutely. And this is where neglecting the technical aspects of SEO can really come back to bite you. Imagine you have amazing content that perfectly matches user intent, but your site takes forever to load on a mobile phone. Chances are people are going to get frustrated and bounce back to the search results before they even have a chance to see how great your content is.
Ouch, that's a painful thought. So what are some of the other technical SEO pitfalls we should be aware of?
Well, the article mentions a few key ones, including neglecting SSL certificates, which are essential for website security and building trust with users. It also talks about the importance of structured data, which helps search engines understand the content on your pages and can lead to those coveted rich snippets in search results.
Rich snippets, those are those little boxes of information that sometimes appear alongside search results, right? Like recipe ratings
Yeah.
or product prices.
Exactly. They can be incredibly effective for attracting clicks and driving traffic to your site. But to get those rich snippets, you need to make sure your website's code is properly structured and marked up using schema.org vocabulary.
Okay, so there's a whole technical side to SEO that goes beyond just having a pretty website. What about the content itself? Is content is king still a valid mantra in 2024?
It absolutely is. But the definition of king has definitely evolved. It's no longer enough to just churn out generic, keyword-stuffed articles. You need to create content that is truly valuable, engaging, and informative.
This reminds me of something I read recently about the skyscraper technique,
Oh, yeah.
where you basically find the best performing content for a particular keyword and then create something even better, more comprehensive, and more visually appealing.
That's a fantastic example of how to approach content creation in a strategic way. It's not just about producing content for the sake of it. It's about understanding what's already out there, identifying gaps and opportunities, and then creating something that truly stands out from the crowd.
So it's like taking a really popular skyscraper
Yeah.
and then building one that's even taller and more impressive.
Exactly. You're essentially saying to Google, hey, look at this amazing piece of content I created. It's even better than what's already ranking highly for this keyword, so you should definitely reward me with a top spot in the search results.
I love that analogy. It makes the whole concept of creating high-quality content much more tangible and actionable. But let's be honest, even with the best content in the world, sometimes it feels like you're screaming into the void. How do you actually get people to see your content once you've created it?
That's where things like social media engagement, link building, and even good old-fashioned PR come into play.
Okay.
And that's what we'll be delving into next. Think of it this way. You've built this incredible skyscraper of content. Now you need to make sure people can actually find it amongst all the other buildings in the digital cityscape.
Right, because what's the point of having an amazing website if nobody ever visits it? It's like throwing a party and forgetting to send out invitations.
Exactly. And that's where having a solid promotional strategy comes in. The article touches on a few key tactics, including social media engagement, link building, and even public relations.
Okay, let's break those down one by one, starting with social media.
Sure.
I've heard some marketers say that social media doesn't directly impact SEO rankings.
Right.
What's your take on that?
Well, it's true that social signals, like likes and shares, aren't a direct ranking factor in Google's algorithms. However, having an active presence on social media can indirectly boost your SEO in a few ways.
I'm all ears. How so?
First, social media can drive traffic to your website. When you share your content on platforms like Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn, you're essentially putting it in front of a wider audience who might not otherwise have found it.
So it's like casting a wider net to catch more potential visitors.
Exactly. And the more traffic you get to your website, the more signals you're sending to Google that your content is valuable and engaging. Second, social media can help with link building. When people share your content on social media, it increases the likelihood that others will link to it from their own websites or blog posts. And as we know, backlinks are a major ranking factor for Google.
So social media can be a powerful tool for amplifying your content and building your website's authority in the eyes of Google.
Precisely. And it's not just about blindly sharing links to your website. It's about creating engaging content that people actually want to share, participating in relevant conversations, and building relationships with other influencers in your niche.
It sounds like social media is less about shouting from the rooftops and more about engaging in meaningful conversations and building authentic connections.
Exactly. Now let's move on to link building.
Okay.
This is a crucial aspect of SEO that often gets overlooked, but it can make a huge difference in your rankings.
I have to admit, link building has always felt a bit mysterious to me. Can you demystify it for us?
Of course. In simple terms, link building is the process of getting other websites to link back to yours. Think of it as a vote of confidence from one website to another. The more high-quality, relevant websites that link to yours, the more authority your website gains in the eyes of Google.
So it's like getting endorsements from other reputable sources in your field.
Exactly. And just like in real life, not all endorsements are created equal. A link from a well-respected, authoritative website in your industry is worth far more than a link from a spammy, low-quality site.
That makes sense. So how do you actually go about getting these valuable backlinks?
There are a number of strategies you can use, but some of the most effective include guest blogging, creating high-quality content that others naturally want to link to, and reaching out to other website owners and bloggers to request links.
It sounds like link building requires a strategic approach and a bit of hustle.
It definitely does. But the payoff can be huge in terms of boosting your website's visibility and authority. Now, the article also mentions public relations as an indirect way to boost SEO. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this one.
Well, I've always seen PR as a separate discipline from SEO, but I can see how getting featured in news articles or industry publications could potentially drive traffic to your website and boost your brand's visibility.
Absolutely. And those media mentions often come with backlinks, which, as we've discussed, are gold for SEO. So while PR might not be a direct SEO tactic, it can certainly play a supporting role in your overall digital marketing strategy.
It seems like SEO is less about isolated tactics and more about creating a synergistic ecosystem where different channels work together to amplify your online presence.
That's a great way to put it. Now, before we wrap up, the article also cautions against some common SEO pitfalls to avoid.
Yes. Let's talk about the dark side of SEO, the mistakes that can send your website spiraling down the search rankings.
One of the biggest culprits is keyword stuffing, which we touched on earlier.
Right.
It's the practice of cramming as many keywords as possible into your content, even if it sounds unnatural or makes the content difficult to read.
I remember the early days of SEO when keyword density was all the rage.
Yeah.
People would stuff their content with keywords until it was practically unreadable.
Those days are long gone. Search engines have become much more sophisticated at detecting keyword stuffing, and it can actually hurt your rankings rather than help them.
It's like trying to trick the teacher by writing the same answer over and over again on a test.
Exactly. It might have worked in elementary school, but it won't fly with Google. Instead of focusing on keyword density, focus on creating high-quality, engaging content that naturally incorporates relevant keywords.
So it's about quality over quantity when it comes to keywords.
Absolutely. Another common pitfall is neglecting technical SEO. We talked about this earlier, but it's worth repeating. Even the best content in the world won't perform well if your website is slow, difficult to navigate, or lacks basic security features.
It's like building a beautiful house on a shaky foundation. No matter how pretty the facade is, if the foundation is weak, the whole structure is at risk.
Exactly. Technical SEO is the foundation of your website's visibility and performance. Make sure you're regularly checking your website's speed, security, and mobile friendliness, and making adjustments as needed.
Okay, so we've covered keyword stuffing and technical SEO. What other SEO sins should we confess to avoiding?
The article also warns against ignoring user experience, or UX.
You know, I've heard the term UX thrown around a lot, but I'm not entirely sure I understand what it actually encompasses. Can you break it down for us?
Sure. User experience encompasses all aspects of a user's interaction with your website, from the moment they land on your homepage to the moment they leave.
So it's about creating a seamless and enjoyable journey for your visitors.
Exactly. And a positive user experience has a direct impact on your SEO.
How so?
Well, search engines like Google track user behavior metrics like bounce rate, time spent on site, and pages per visit.
Okay, let's unpack those metrics one by one. What's a bounce rate?
A bounce rate is the percentage of visitors who leave your website after viewing only one page.
So if someone lands on your website and immediately clicks the back button, that's considered a bounce.
Exactly. And a high bounce rate can signal to Google that your website isn't relevant or engaging, which can negatively impact your rankings.
Ouch. So how do you keep people from bouncing?
By creating a website that is easy to navigate, visually appealing, and provides a positive experience for visitors. Think clear navigation menus, concise and engaging content, and fast loading times.
So it's about making sure your website is not only informative, but also visually appealing and easy to use.
Exactly. Now, time spent on site is another important metric.
Okay.
It refers to the average amount of time visitors spend on your website.
So the longer people stick around, the better.
Generally speaking, yes. A longer time on site suggests that visitors are finding your content engaging and valuable, which can send positive signals to Google.
Okay, and what about pages per visit?
Pages per visit is the average number of pages visitors view during a single session on your website.
So if someone visits multiple pages on your website, it shows that they're interested in exploring your content.
Exactly. A higher number of pages per visit suggests that visitors are finding your content engaging and relevant, which can again send positive signals to Google.
So a positive user experience translates into positive SEO signals.
Precisely. By focusing on creating a website that people genuinely enjoy using, you'll naturally improve your SEO and boost your rankings.
This has been incredibly insightful. I feel like we've covered a lot of ground, from the importance of user intent and mobile-first indexing to the power of social media, link building, and PR.
Yes.
But I'm curious to know what you think about the future of SEO. What trends do you see emerging on the horizon?
Well, if there's one thing we've learned today, it's that the SEO landscape is constantly evolving. But I do think there are a few key trends that will shape the future of search.
I'm all ears. Let's gaze into our SEO crystal ball and see what the future holds.
One trend that's already gaining momentum is the rise of voice search.
Ah, yes, voice search. Everyone's talking about it. But how will it actually impact SEO?
Well, as more and more people use voice assistants like Siri, Alexa, and Google Assistant to search the web, we need to start optimizing our content for natural language queries.
So instead of typing best Italian restaurants near me, we might say, hey, Google, find me a good Italian place for dinner tonight.
Exactly. And that means thinking about how people actually speak and structuring our content accordingly.
So we might need to start incorporating longer, more conversational phrases into our content to match how people actually speak.
That's one approach. We also need to focus on providing concise and direct answers to questions, as that's what voice assistants are primarily designed to deliver.
It sounds like voice search optimization will require a shift in our content creation mindset.
It will. But it's also an exciting opportunity to connect with our audience in a more natural and conversational way.
I completely agree. Now, what other SEO trends do you see on the horizon?
Another trend that's rapidly gaining traction is the use of artificial intelligence, or AI.
AI is everywhere these days. But how is it being used in the context of SEO?
AI is already being used by search engines like Google to understand user intent and deliver more personalized search results.
So Google is using AI to get inside our heads and figure out what we're really looking for.
In a way, yes. AI algorithms can analyze vast amounts of data, including our search history, location, and even our social media activity, to deliver more relevant and tailored results.
That's both impressive and a little bit creepy.
I know what you mean. But from an SEO perspective, it's important to understand how AI is shaping the search landscape.
So how do we adapt our SEO strategies to this brave new world of AI-powered search?
Well, one key is to focus on creating high-quality, authoritative content that clearly answers user queries.
So the fundamentals of good SEO are still relevant, even in the age of AI.
Absolutely. AI algorithms are designed to reward websites that provide valuable and informative content. We also need to make sure our websites are technically sound, with fast loading times, mobile friendliness, and clear navigation.
Because even AI can't fix a website that's a technical mess.
Exactly. And as AI continues to evolve, we can expect to see even more personalized and sophisticated search results in the future.
So the future of SEO is all about embracing the power of AI while staying true to the fundamentals of creating great content and providing a positive user experience.
Exactly. And remember, the digital landscape is constantly evolving. What works today might not work tomorrow, so staying adaptable and informed is key.
This has been an incredibly insightful journey into the world of SEO, both present and future. I feel like I've gained a whole new understanding of how to navigate this ever-changing landscape.
That's great.
But before we wrap up this deep dive, I have one final question for you.
I'm all ears.
Given everything we've discussed today, what's the one piece of advice you would give to someone who's just starting out with SEO?
That's a great question. I would say don't get overwhelmed by all the technical jargon and ever-changing algorithms. Focus on the fundamentals. Create high-quality content that your target audience will genuinely find valuable. Make sure your website is technically sound and easy to use, and promote your content through a variety of channels.
So it's about keeping it simple and focusing on the core principles of good web design and content creation.
Exactly. And remember, SEO is a marathon, not a sprint. It takes time and effort to see results, but the rewards are well worth it.
This has been such a valuable deep dive into the world of SEO. I'm walking away with a renewed sense of purpose and a whole bunch of new ideas to implement on my own website.
I'm so glad to hear that.
Yeah.
It's always rewarding to see people embrace the challenge of staying ahead in the digital world.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
what's one final thought-provoking question you'd like to leave our listener with?
Okay.
Something to ponder as they continue their own SEO journey.
Given the rapid evolution of SEO and the increasing emphasis on user experience, search intent, and AI, what steps can you take today to ensure your online presence stays relevant and impactful for your target audience?
It's a question that really gets to the heart of why we do what we do online, right? It's not just about rankings and algorithms. It's about connecting with real people and making a meaningful impact.
Precisely. And that's why it's so crucial to stay curious, keep learning, and never stop experimenting.
Yeah.
The digital landscape is constantly evolving, so we need to be willing to adapt and embrace new ideas.
You know, it's funny because sometimes I feel like SEO is portrayed as this, dark art full of tricks and shortcuts.
Yeah.
But what we've really been talking about today is something much more fundamental.
Right.
Creating a website that people genuinely enjoy using, providing valuable content, and engaging with our audience in a meaningful way.
I couldn't agree more. And those principles will always be relevant no matter how much the algorithms change.
Yeah.
In fact, I think the more sophisticated search engines become, the more they will reward websites that focus on providing a great user experience and building genuine connections.
It's almost like SEO is coming full circle back to its roots of simply creating a good website that people want to visit and share.
Exactly. And that's a really encouraging thought. It means that even if you're not a technical whiz, you can still succeed online by focusing on the fundamentals. Great content, user-friendly design, and authentic engagement.
And let's be honest, those are the things that make the internet a truly enjoyable and valuable resource for all of us.
That's so true. It's easy to get caught up in the technicalities and the competition, but at the end of the day, we're all just trying to connect with each other, share information, and make the world a little bit better through our online presence.
That's a beautiful sentiment. And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive into the world of SEO.
It's been a pleasure exploring these ideas with you. I always learn something new from these conversations.
I feel the same way. I'm walking away feeling energized and inspired to tackle my own website's SEO with a fresh perspective.
That's fantastic to hear. And remember, you don't have to do it alone. There are tons of resources available online, from industry blogs and forums to expert consultants who can provide personalized guidance.
And of course, there's always our podcast, The Deep Dive, to guide you through the ever-changing world of digital marketing.
Exactly. We're here to help you navigate the complexities of SEO and make sense of all the latest trends and strategies.
So to our listener, thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
Yes.
We hope you found it insightful and actionable. Remember, the digital world is constantly changing, but by staying informed, adapting to new trends, and focusing on providing a great user experience,
Right.
you can ensure your online presence remains strong and impactful for years to come.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep experimenting, and keep diving deep into the fascinating world of SEO.